Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Commissar with game number 3 between IdrA and Everize in this best of 3 series, the final game in this IEM qualifying series in the winners bracket. I'm not sure which round it was, but nonetheless, it's been a great series so far, with the last game in particular being of a very, very high quality. And I'm just excited to bring you game number 3. So, we do have, today we do indeed have Everize up in the top right hand side of the map, again as our green Terran, favouring that green colour, and it looks quite nice on a Terran, especially on those SCVs I find. Meanwhile on the bottom left hand side of the map we have none other than IdrA. IdrA, of course, doing so well last game, considering the start, again not going his way. I believe if he irons out his opening, if he's able to get through the early game, he will have a big advantage against Everize, as, to be frank, he is the favoured player, he has a better reputation, and, yeah, he showed last game that he can potentially get ahead very quickly, very easily. He is able to do Muta styles, as well as the more favoured, more popular Infestor styles, and that really caught Everize off guard. So we'll have to wait and see, well, A, is Everize able to adjust to whatever IdrA throws at him, if it is Mutas this game again, or B, whether IdrA is able to get through the early game cleanly, get through where Everize appears to be strongest, and get into a late game on either equal footings or ahead of Everize, and perhaps bring the hurt and win that way. Oh, Everize is going for a 2-Rax play, and we'll have to wait and see if this drone does indeed scout it. If you go to the IdrA cam, he has his eyes over here, and oh, such clever positioning by Everize. He does not see it. He cannot see these guys that are right here. Look at how close that was. So IdrA, yep, IdrA's camera stops there, and everyone's camera, the shadow of the barracks could have been seen by IdrA, potentially, as it wouldn't have appeared, but the barracks itself, out of sight. IdrA, of course, now going to come back across and actually see it, so it is going to work out for him in the end. But he did go hatch first, and hatch for 4th pool is exactly what Everize wanted out of IdrA here, and we'll have to wait and see how IdrA holds this. How many drones will he lose? As holding this sort of 2-Rax play, pretty standard stuff for IdrA. He's done it so many times before. He should be able to do it pretty well in theory. The thing is, though, that always means pulling drones, already having to pull 3 drones to kill off this SCV to at least scare it away, to whittle down this bunker now. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see how he does indeed hold off against all of these units that are coming in now. We now have 7 drones off the line, so damage already being dealt. That cancels bunker is going to, it's going to be cancelled as it was, and we'll have to wait and see if a bunker is able to finish at the front here. Only 1 Marine so far, and almost surrounded that SCV, and we do indeed see the Marine getting surrounded by drones. 1 drone is going to go down though, and so far no Marines have actually been killed by IdrA, trying to just stall for time as that spine does finish, it does go up. Meanwhile, the firstlings are out on the map, and what can they do? Nothing yet until they have reinforcements. Queen is also on the way at the natural. Here goes IdrA out with all of his slings and his drones, trying to get us around here, and he is going to clean up a few of those Marines, get those SCVs, and a brilliant hold by IdrA, taking minimal losses, and he is producing a few more lings, but that'll be the main damage he takes, because only losing, 3 workers? Yeah, 3 workers, and his opponent lost 2. So really, economy-wise, it wasn't really significantly in the favour of Everize. I disagree with IdrA's decision to counterattack, but he is going to back off now. Just secure the map, get some map control, and perhaps go into Banelings maybe for a Baneling bust. Probably just going to macro up though, as he knows that he is going to be ahead on that expansion timing. He knows he can drone up safely for the next couple of minutes or so. And yeah, maybe a defensive Baneling nest would be a good idea, but other than that, he's safe to do whatever he likes. Meanwhile, of course, we do indeed see an expand of Everize. Oh, Everize taking a ballsy play here, taking a big risk. And I'll have to wait and see if IdrA is able to deny that expand. We do, of course, see a need for IdrA to perhaps consider expanding himself. He is joining up for now, so of course his economy is not doing badly by any means. Joining up of 2 bases, not necessarily worse than expanding onto a 3rd base before you can actually saturate it. In fact, it's probably more efficient to it the way IdrA's doing it now. But meanwhile, of course, the big question is, how will Everize secure a 3rd base? And say, will he be able to wall it off in time with barracks and Marines to hold onto it? Or Will it just be taken out as, oh, the front's being pounded right now as the Marines of Everize are at the watchtower, and this barracks is going to be cancelled, or at least maybe killed off, cancelled, there we go. And now we'll have to see the middle line, how it holds up against these Lings. The supply depot wall will not be raised. Oh, a big blunder from Everize, as we do indeed see this third base being scattered, and now the SCVs are going to be killed, at least a few of them are going to go down. Only one so far, so not big losses at all yet from Everize. One more going down, I'll have to wait and see how many more go down. A third SCV going down. Looks like it'll be about all the damage that Everize takes. But this scout has been brilliant for IdrA, as he sees the third base and he knows exactly what's up. And all he has to do now is say expand himself or go in for a kill and try and shut down Everize, as he is so greedy at the moment. And at the moment, droning up, it looks like IdrA will be taking a third base right about now. And maybe even going for a quick 4 bases, because that is certainly safe to do. Okay, so we also have to watch IdrA for his tech. He does indeed have a fair bit of gas building up to 200 almost. That is being spent on speed and on, yeah, just speed at this stage in a bailing nest. And for the time being, IdrA perfectly safe. The bailing nest is going to make him even safer. He has, what, 1 spine, 2 queens. He's going to have creepers third in a moment or two. And these, oh, actually I say perfectly safe, but this is a short window when the third base isn't properly defended. And if this is denied, Everize could be in a good spot here. IdrA, of course, does have the 2 queens, but I don't think he has enough links to actually deal with this. I think the cancel will be forced. The spine is there, but it's not close enough to actually save this third base. And this is going to go down. There's no way it can hold. And until that bailing nest is done, IdrA, yeah, he's not safe. And well, he's not going to die here, but the third base going down is huge, because Everize has a third base, and IdrA knows that. So basically, IdrA knows he's behind, he knows why, and he can't do much about it, but he is going for the counter, and oh, this could be great news for IdrA. He is expanding to his third base again, and can he get in, though? The barracks wall in is so strong, so he definitely cannot get into the natural expansion. And yeah, Everize is safe. The thing though is that he cannot land his third base, and the other thing to note is, will these Marines escape? They are around the Zellenlager tower, so they are so safe right now, because of course that position is just so favourable towards the Terran player, as yep, no surround can happen, 3 Lings already going down for free. Meanwhile, of course, the macro hatch on the way, the lair on the way in the main base, a second extractor in the main. We already have gas at the natural though for IdrA, and he is going to be taking up and perhaps going for some mutas. We'll have to wait and see about that one though, as we do have Blue Flame on the way for our Terran player. Back in his base, we do we have Starport yet? We do. No tech labs or anything on that for the moment. We'll have to wait and see if he does go for Banshees or what. Medevacs this time, so perhaps going for some Hellion drops with that Blue Flame. So if that works, it could be great, and oh, the Lings did die to the Marines of Everize, meanwhile. Okay, so over here we do indeed see IdrA having, yeah, a bit of oversaturation here. Going to have 3 fully saturated bases, I believe. How many drones is this? Transferring, yeah, what, 13 drones, so 3 more and the minerals are done. Then 6 more, plus the 2 guys with the gas, and the gas is done. So yep, IdrA's basically fully saturated already off his 3 base. Of course, Everize not. All he has is 3 orbitals, not really properly 3 mining bases at this stage. We do have the double armory on the way for Everize as he is moving out across the map. So it's going to be a bit of Marine plus Hellion play. Where's that medevac though? I'm wondering. I'm trying to find that medevac. Here it is. Going to go with the Marines, not the Hellions actually. Not going to go for that drop straight away at least. And there are no upgrades on these Marines yet, so they are very vulnerable. The Bailings are coming in. Will they hit? I don't know. These Blue Flame Hellions are so strong against this army composition of very little. And these Bailings are going to be so important here. And will they go down? It looks like 2 have gone down already. 2 more not getting hits off. And oh, IdrA is in a weak spot here right now. He is going to lose this spine so quickly. We can see the Hellions still up, the Queens up, are going to get a couple of kills, but they do not have enough energy for transfusers. Now they have enough for 1 transfuser and that weaker Queen at the back. Maybe going to save that spine, and oh, IdrA holding surprisingly well, I think, considering how little he had there. I mean, he could have so easily lost that Queen to a bit of better micro. He could have so easily lost that spine too, and as a result, he lost hardly anything. And I'm actually really surprised by that. And I thought IdrA could be a bit stuffed there, but after that, yeah, looking back on it, he's now basically in a good spot. Workers killed in that, very few workers killed all game long. IdrA ahead on workers killed actually. And meanwhile the question is, IdrA's Mutalisks, will they do any damage or will there be Thors in the way? No Thors now, but there are turrets. And oh, we do see 2 more command centers on the way, and IdrA is also hiding an expansion down on the bottom right hand side of the map. I wouldn't mind to see this expand taken as well. IdrA does have the money for it. He does, perhaps saving for a few more mutas. We'll have to wait and see. He is though upgrading like crazy, getting Ling and Mutalisk upgrades. So going for that Ling muta style yet again, going back to his roots really. Okay, so the mutas out here going to try and clean out these Hellions. The Hellions, of course, are going to be scouting these mutas very, very nicely. And we are going to see Thors and Vikings on the way. Vikings are normally quite bad against mutas, to be honest, especially in small numbers. But if they're above Thors, of course, the mutas cannot risk attacking them without attacking the Thors. And it effectively extends the Thors range to 9, while increasing the firepower versus the mutas. So with turrets, defensive Vikings could be quite good, and Thors, yeah. So, meanwhile, we do indeed see an Overseer Scout, seeing everything in the base of Everize for IdrA. But IdrA is a long way behind on supply at the moment, and really looking at his economy, 75 to 72, yeah, not doing well. That's what 3 SCVs from so early does for you. And meanwhile, we do indeed see 3 Hellions poking into the natural here. They will be cleaned up, no damage will be dealt by them. But, meanwhile, at the third base, some drones are gonna die. And how many is the question? Quite a few, actually. Our workers killed now, 13 for Everize this game, and that will be all. The meter's going to clean up here. Units lost tab does indeed show IdrA being ahead. That is of course misleading though, because of the economy of Everize. We are going to see 1800, oh, a lot of banked money here for IdrA. Really need to start spending that, and I don't see why not just expand. He does have Hive on the way. He is expanding, is he? No, not yet. He is transferring over to his 4th base over here. And I think he needs to be a bit more aggressive in his expanding, a bit more aggressive in his teching perhaps, as it's going to be 17 minutes before, yeah, the highs are going to be up until the 18-minute mark, which is not very quick at all. And he is going to have a lack of fast broodlords and ultras, and he can't spend that money. He just can't do it at this stage. And we'll have to wait and see what he does about that. Like, does he go for a big push of roaches? Does he go for, yeah, what does he go for in the meantime? As he does not have a late game army up yet, and at the moment, Everize has a stronger army, Everize has a stronger economy, and Everize is a long way ahead. Okay, so we do indeed see a few Hellions being cleaned out over here. Not going to do very much. They are going to see a few drones running around a little bit curiously, and oh, seeing drones just running past like that basically gives away the location of this base down here. Everize actually saw it building, so he does know about that base. This 5th base is being secured now by IdrA, so he is going to be on 5 base to 4 base in just a moment. But there is, what, a 7th command center on the way, so yeah, suddenly Everize not in much trouble at all, economically. We do have the Greater Spire on the way. We do indeed have a 2nd Spire on the way for upgrades, I believe, double air upgrades. And we do have the 3-3 for the Lings on the way, and adrenal glands, rather. And yeah, there is a planetary fortress over here, so really Everize should be pretty safe defensively. He has a good economy, and he's just slowly turtling up, expanding, getting out those sensor towers to see everything that he can. And meanwhile, his economic harass has been decent. These spines will deal with the economic harass over here. And oh, a nice burrow, but a nice scan too. Gonna see a bunch of these drones die. And how many is a question? It's gonna be actually about half of them actually in the end. You can see a few more workers going down. Economy overall though, 96 drones for IdrA. IdrA is now maxed, and all IdrA needs to do is get a good army composition and he will be set. He could just throw down a bunch of spines and go into broodlords, and really a bit surprised that Everize has enabled him to get up to 200 and a massive and a really good army so easily. Not so fast rather, but easily. But we do indeed have the 2 attack, about to be 2 armor as well. Mech army. It's a very scary army indeed of Everize moving out here. The fungals are on the Hellions. The Thors though also being fungled. The infestors are being scared away a little bit by the Hellions. And meanwhile this Thor army is looking pretty strong. It is a little bit in the yellow. The fungals did do a little bit of a decent job. But the question is, can the broodlords get out in time to defend it? This base is definitely going to fall down on the bottom right hand side of the map. We do have more siege tanks and Thors moving out across the map too, and oh, the siege up on the high ground is so brutal. That base doesn't stand a chance. This base doesn't stand a chance. And it's going to be up to IdrA to go all in, basically. And all these Thors could die to drones, but no, they will not. Meanwhile, of course, the Broodlords are here to try and kill these tanks off, but not in big enough numbers, I fear, for IdrA. The Infest is trying to move up to try and intercept those tanks, and they do get a fungal off, and can the Broodlords clean up here, as IdrA really needs this, as otherwise he will be so stuffed, as he has lost so much in so little time. And yet he will get all the tanks, he will get a partial cleanup, he does get some lings in on the Thors too, but the Thors are going to hold that off very nicely. And meanwhile, we don't see the Infest is going out for the fungal growths, and oh, they are going to get a couple, but is there going to be enough time for the Broodlords to clean this up? I don't think so. It looks like there won't be. And yeah, IdrA holds. IdrA is going to have to reestablish his bases though, as he needs his economy to get back on track right away. Down to 79 harvests, not bad at all. His main is mining out though, his natural very close to mining out. He needs his bases back up right now. He has this base going up too. The big battle though is going over here. More Thors and tanks going down. We do indeed see so many Vikings though, and all these Broodlords are all gonna die, I think. And I think this could mean that Everize is about to win, as without an army, IdrA is gonna be a bit behind on production, without enough hatches to spend his money on. And yeah, now every Broodlord is down. The Roach is gonna be thwarted by these planetary fortresses, and the Thors, and the tanks. The Infestors going to try and kill off the Vikings, but even if they achieve that, I think that still, IdrA has just lost too much. And meanwhile, trying to push in here, planetaries everywhere for Everize, gonna completely shut down this play. And sure, it is trying, he's expanding, he's re-expanding, not gonna give up the third game in a best of 3. These guys are actually gonna bleed out over here, unfortunately for IdrA. Needs to re-expand over here, he does have a drone already down there to do so when he sees the time fit to do it. And IdrA's pretty mad. I think he's mad at planetaries more than anything, I'd guess, because he seems to not be able to attack anywhere due to planetaries being everywhere. And yeah, Everize is basically able to total up and move out and take control of the map very easily. And IdrA is pretty, well, yeah, he's pretty mad about it, as you can imagine. Probably pretty annoyed that some Vikings came up so quickly. Of course, that is off a total of 4 starports. That's pumping out, what, 5 at a time on the Vikings. And now going to lose the Infestors too. And IdrA is, yeah, 5 Infestors going down cheaply. Not even destroying the economy over here. And basically, IdrA is going to move in here with his Lings and Roaches. Going to try and make something happen, but this army is so sturdy here that I really don't see IdrA doing much, being able to kill it. And yeah, Everize ahead in supply, Broodlords are on the way, but will that be enough? It would be enough to hold this off, but he's going to lose another base here, and IdrA does not have bases to lose at this stage. Too much damage taken on the first push, and I feel like if IdrA had spent his money a bit quickly, a bit better earlier on, and gotten that hive a little bit faster, gotten those Broodlords a little bit faster, only like a minute faster, he probably would have won this game, and as a result, he is just being pounded, losing his bases, and it's not looking good for him. He is going to have one last hurrah, it looks like, but so many Vikings 5 at a time. Corruptors, really not the best against Vikings because of the Vikings' range. They can kill them easily, potentially, but I don't think they can actually properly protect the Broodlords due to the ability to kite, and IdrA is just going to leave the game, deciding he can't do anything about this. It's getting a bit ridiculous, and, well, he lost. I'm not going to say it's imbalanced because I don't believe it is. I believe it is mech, which is underutilized, and IdrA not really knowing how to deal with that. Infest a Broodlord can work if you have enough to deal with the Vikings. It can be difficult, granted, but the idea of generally the way Zergs tend to fight it is by fighting it at the base of the Terran player and being able to reinforce and sort of have a so-called 300 supply army where you sort of go in, you lose 100 supply, you instantly max out or something, and then you basically crush him. And you whittle it away, you crush him, he can't rebuild quickly because it takes, what, 60 seconds to build a Thor? That's the Zerg advantage. It's not being able to take these armies on head-on necessarily, and IdrA was not able to do that. He was a bit behind from the start economically too, which was very hard for him to deal with, and he is just having a bad day. And that is the end of the best of 3 series. So I thought it was a pretty good series. I know that you rarely get to see IdrA winning series. Unfortunately though, this replay was uploaded by, what? This was part of an Everize replay pack, which does include losses, but it was just a part of his very good run at the IEM qualifiers. He did actually qualify for IEM, and as such he thought he'd share the replays, as he did indeed draw a bit of attention, as he beat a lot of big players in this run-through. He did beat, what, Trimaster was one player? I think he beat, yeah, I forget who else he beat. I forget, but he went up against a few big names, and he did do quite well. As such, Everize looking pretty exciting, but IdrA is not looking bad either. I mean, he did do well at WCS, and against the, I suppose, a non-meching Terran, he would have been just fine, I think. It's hard to tell. Well, it's hard to tell, but he obviously didn't do too well in this series. So yeah, good games all round. Please give me some feedback, and I'll see you guys in another day. Please do subscribe if you enjoy my content, and other than that, goodbye, and thanks for